Days of Our Lives. Prom night, Sophia and Tate's unimaginable loss. It was supposed to be a night of magic, of memories, of hope for a bright future. The seniors of Salem High had been counting down to their final prom, a night that symbolized the end of childhood and the beginning of adulthood. But for two young souls, Tate Black and Sophia Choi, that rite of passage would end not with a dance under the stars, but with sirens screaming into the night, tears streaming down faces, and dreams shattered in an instant. Tate Black, the son of Brady Black and Teresa Donovan, had always been a bit of a rebel with a heart of gold. And Sophia Choi, quiet, thoughtful, and wise beyond her years, had once dreamed of becoming a pediatrician. But life doesn't always go according to plan. Months ago, these two teens faced the shock of an unplanned pregnancy. While their peers worried about college applications and class rankings, Tate and Sophia were attending doctor's appointments and planning for adoption. They were scared, yes. But determined. Determined to do the right thing. They agreed that their child deserved a loving home, even if it couldn't be with them. And though this was not the life they envisioned, they found something beautiful in their shared journey. An unspoken bond of love, pain, and growing maturity. Prom night was supposed to be a break from the chaos. A brief, glittering escape from stretch marks and student loan fears. Tate surprised Sophia by asking her to go, insisting that they deserved one normal teenage night before the rest of their lives began. Sophia, initially reluctant due to her pregnancy, eventually said yes. She even managed to find a gown that fit, though she joked bitterly to her friends that the fashion industry seemed to forget pregnant teens existed. As the gymnasium lights twinkled and the music pulsed through the hearts of Salem High's class of seniors, no one knew tragedy was just hours away. The decorations were bright, the air thick with perfume and excitement. Holly Jonas was busy deciding whether to attend the prom with Doug Williams III or simply show up solo and make a statement. But amid all the youthful angst and romantic drama, one couple stood out, not because they were the most glamorous or popular, but because they radiated something deeper, courage. Tate couldn't stop smiling at Sophia that night. He even whispered that she looked like a queen. And for a moment, everything felt right. They danced slowly, his hand gently placed on the curve of her back, her head resting on his shoulder. They were just two teenagers in love, trying, hoping. But then, in the middle of a slow dance, Sophia gasped. Her grip tightened on Tate's arm. The pain was sharp. Blinding. Her water had broken. The floor beneath her was slick, her breath coming in panicked bursts. Music screeched to a halt as students turned in shock. Tate didn't hesitate, his instincts kicked in. He scooped Sophia into his arms, calling for help, shouting for someone to call 911. They rushed to the car instead of waiting for the ambulance, desperate to beat the clock. Sophia was in agony, trying to stay calm, tears mingling with sweat on her face. Tate drove like a man possessed, weaving through Salem's quiet streets, racing to University Hospital. Every red light felt like an eternity. Every second, the pain worsened. And then, silence. Halfway to the hospital, Sophia let out a cry that chilled Tate to the bone. It wasn't the cry of pain. It was the cry of a mother who felt something inside her change. Something vital, slipping away. The baby had stopped moving. Tate tried to reassure her, clutching her hand, telling her they were almost there. But she knew. Somehow, she knew. Doctors were waiting when they arrived, rushing her into the maternity ward. Nurses worked frantically. Monitors beeped. Faces grew grim. And then, just as suddenly, came the words that would echo in both teenagers' hearts forever, "There's no heartbeat." Their child, so wanted, so loved, was gone. The baby died on the way to the hospital. A cord accident, the doctors explained gently. Nothing anyone could have done. One moment, the child was preparing to enter the world. The next, gone. Tate crumbled in the hallway, collapsing onto the floor, sobbing into his hands. Teresa and Brady arrived moments later, unable to believe what had happened. Sophia lay in the hospital bed, numb, staring at the ceiling, whispering to herself, "I was supposed to say goodbye." The rest of Salem began to hear the news. Holly, who had been fighting feelings of jealousy over Tate, felt sick to her stomach. Doug Williams III offered quiet condolences, his usual confidence gone. The school's seniors, once wrapped up in corsages and selfies, now cried openly in the halls. No one knew what to say. What could they say? The days that followed were filled with grief and questions. How could two teenagers be asked to endure so much? How could life be so unfair? But through the heartbreak, there was also something else, a haunting beauty in how Sophia and Tate faced the loss. They buried their child together. They named her Hope. Not because they were hopeful, but because they needed to be. They sat beside a tiny headstone, hands intertwined, swearing to each other that this would not break them. That they would live for the child they lost. That they would keep going, not because it was easy, but because they owed Hope that much. In a world of soaps where twists and scandals dominate, this story hit different. It wasn't about revenge or lies or buried secrets. It was about young love, impossible choices, and unimaginable pain. It was about how life can change in a heartbeat, and how even in that darkest moment, two teenagers could stand together, broken but unbowed. The senior prom of Salem High will be remembered not for the music or the decorations, but for the life that never had a chance, and the strength of the two young people who said goodbye too soon. As May sweeps continue, fans can only wonder, where do Sophia and Tate go from here? Will their bond survive? Will they find peace? Or will this tragedy haunt them forever? Only time, and days of our lives, will tell. A night of tragedy, Sophia, Tate, and Holly's harrowing experience. The senior prom at Salem High was meant to be a celebration. A culmination of youthful dreams and aspirations. For Sophia Choi, Tate Black, and Holly Jonas, however, it became a night etched in sorrow and heartbreak. The unfolding catastrophe. Tate, filled with anticipation, had invited his pregnant girlfriend, Sophia, to the prom. He hoped to create a cherished memory before they entrusted their unborn child to a loving adoptive family. Despite her advanced pregnancy, Sophia agreed, yearning for a semblance of normalcy amidst the chaos. Holly, Sophia's close friend and once harboring feelings for Tate, attended the prom with Doug Williams III. Yet, her gaze often drifted towards Sophia and Tate, a mixture of emotions swirling within her. The evening was vibrant, filled with laughter and music. Sophia, radiant despite her condition, danced with Tate, their moments together seemingly suspended in time. But joy turned to terror when Sophia suddenly cried out in pain. Her water had broken. Panic ensued as Tate swiftly carried her to the car, racing against time to reach the hospital. The aftermath of loss. During the frantic drive, Sophia's distress escalated. She clutched Tate's arm, her voice trembling, "Tate, I can't feel the baby anymore." Those words struck a chord of dread. Upon arrival at the hospital, medical staff rushed to assist. Holly, having followed them, waited anxiously. Moments later, a somber-faced doctor delivered the devastating news. Their baby had not survived. Tate was overwhelmed with guilt, questioning his decision to bring Sophia to the prom. Sophia lay in silence, tears streaming down her face, mourning the loss of her child. Amy's reaction. Amy Choi, Sophia's mother, was engulfed in grief upon hearing the news. Her sorrow quickly turned to anger, directing blame towards Tate. She confronted him, her voice laced with fury, accusing him of endangering her daughter's life and causing the loss of her grandchild. Tate stood speechless, absorbing the weight of Amy's words. He knew no apology could mend the pain inflicted. Holly's support. Witnessing her friend's anguish, Holly felt a profound sense of sorrow. She approached Sophia, offering comfort and solidarity. Their bond, once strained, was reaffirmed in shared grief. The events of that night left an indelible mark on all involved. As they grapple with their loss, questions linger: can forgiveness be found? Will healing ever come? Only time will reveal the answers.